Hi guys, I'm Spaceship and today, as promised, I want to share with you my top 10 hopes and wishes for the future of Ratchet and Clank. Honestly, I was waiting with making that video for PlayStation Showcase to end, because you never know, am I right? But for better or worse, there was nothing. Except for Spider-Man 2, which my tinfoil hat brain tells me that maybe had Rift Apart being its tech demo for few mechanics like switching up heroes and stuff. You know, to see how people respond and what to fix and in which direction to go. But that's probably a strong reach. Honestly, this time, the order is less criteria-based and more of how much I wanna talk about said thing and how interesting it might be. So, without further ado, let's begin. Number 10! Innuendo in the title. We all miss this, right? I can't be the only one. Going commando, up your arsenal, quest for booty, full frontal assault. I mean, we all love those, right? It's a part of the series' charm, an indicator of its self-awareness and humor. And I know, sadly, Ratchet and Clank has transformed into a game for literal babies now. We're gonna touch on that later too. And we can't tip off any parent, am I right? I will never forgive that they changed All for One title from Bros Before Foes. Like, come on, this is ingenious! But this point actually goes a bit deeper. I want more humor, but hear me out. Yeah, Rift Apart and a 2016 game has humor, but it's not the humor. And no, I don't want the exact humor from the PS2 era back. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of cringe there. And in Rift Apart too, but it's like two different types of cringe. But now most of the humor is just cheap slapstick, mostly directed at Nefarious, which is a toddler type of humor.
Bad guy got hit! Look at him, how stupid he is now on the ground! Na 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 na!
And another type of humor now we have is haha, quirky banter, which doesn't feel forced at all sometimes. Like every NPC we meet is just quirky. They talk and talk and talk and talk, so much that you will smirk once or twice. But there are no, jokes that have payoffs. Jokes that come directly from any character's personality. Almost every joke in Rift Apart could have been said by another character, and it would hit the same. The only scene that's humorous because of the character's personality is Ratchet's clicking the wrong button. A scene that I pointed out before that seems like one of the very few where Ratchet is himself. The only scene where actual interaction between characters is a joke itself, rather than some one-liner thrown here or there. And don't even get me started on Clank'S censored swearing. Not only it's completely out of place, since we're fighting the same enemies we fought before, there isn't much change there, just a different skin. Nothing ginormous happens. It would fit way better in a scene with the Kraken, or even the Fixer, because those are the things that you look at and go, holy shit. And two, it's Clank saying that. If it was Ratchet, yes, it coming completely out of nowhere would fit. But Clank is the calmer, calculated, logical one. It would have to be something really impressive and big for him to swear like that. I guess the creators just looked at the scene in Up Your Arsenal and decided, let's do that again. But they forget that that was Clunk, not Clank. And him swearing was part of the point. Angela swearing at the end of the adventure where things got completely bonkers fits perfectly. But this is just like, hey Dave, throw an S-bomb, we're gonna just put it somewhere in the game, we'll figure it out later. That's how it feels. Completely out of place, and not in a funny way. And I mean, some slapstick and some just one-liners are pretty fun. Throw them in there. But I also just want some jokes that took a bit of effort, that come from the personality of characters. So yeah, maybe I don't even need an innuendo in the title. I just want it to be a wordplay. Something fun. Something that when you play the game, you're like, ah, that makes sense. Rift Apart wasn't even translated in my native language. That's how utterly meaningless it is. It's just a buzzword. So I guess humorous, playful, or just meaningful title. And just overall humor. And if we ever get to the long boxes, it needs to be Ratchet and Clank home base. It needs to be number 9. Environmental storytelling, which is basically just putting care and thought into the worlds you're crafting. Having Fungoid Planet be completely overrun by plants, with giant crumbling temples being artifacts of the culture and society there once were. Having Torrent 4 be an absolute dump, but filled with technological marvels, just rusty and forgotten, because it used to be a giant life-filled city. But now, just like in our world, it's all wasting away, and there are only scavengers picking up the remnants of the past, not knowing how to actually use them, because Fungoids destroyed their own culture and civilization by overusing the time travel, a gift they were given by the Zoni, and after the failure, that was taken away from them. So they're starting from the ground up. Tribal society completely cut off from the marvels of technology they once were pioneering. And yes, part of that was told us as a story, but the rest is just shown by the way those planets look like, by the way of how the environment is crafted. And then there's Torrent 4 on Rivet's dimension, which had gladiator fights, and now there's only one left, who's a good guy now, and he developed a mystical power somehow of fixing absolutely everything, even entire planets! In Rift Apart, the entire galaxy is supposed to be under evil emperor's nefarious rule. And where do we see that? In prison, I guess? But we've been in that prison before. And in Nefarious City, which is his capital, because there are robots and statues. The rest of the galaxy? Nothing. There is absolutely nothing adding to the narrative that this world needs some kind of liberation. Even the both versions of Kedero Station, which only one of them belongs to the Emperor, they look the same. One is just broken, the other isn't. And they just look like any other factory we ever visited in those games. They have the same power sources, even though the Emperor should be the only one who disregards squishy life to the point of making a battery out of one, and who's obsessed with white and orange color scheme. Honestly, it makes more sense if we traveled back in time on this planet, not to a different dimension. So what I would want, if we were given a planet map in the size of Savali again, have more NPCs there, just doing their thing. Like on Blizzen. But like maybe have an option for us to come up to those characters, and if we click something, we can interact with them and learn more about the place. And for those that don't care, just make it optional. You don't need to do that. It would be way more fun than reading entries in the menu. What is that, Assassin's Creed? I don't play games to read. If I'd like to read, I would read a book. And I want new worlds. I don't want copy-paste planets from the past, just, ooh, different version from a different dimension, like Sargasso, which is now in high definition, and completely nothing else changed. I also just miss the atmosphere. In Nexus, the atmosphere of the abandoned sector was there, and it was powerful. I eat that game's art direction up. I know that in the same game you pick up the voice recordings of Vendra's backstory, which is lame, but in the same areas you have the genius of her drawings on the walls. Orphanage. You can just look around and see what a terrible environment that was for children. The assembly line showers, completely no windows in the sleeping quarters. And did you ever notice the giant hamster watering bottle? That's how they gave water to kids. They treated them like pets. And it didn't need to be told or written for us. It was just shown, and we can see that, yeah, that place sucked, and I want more of that. Exactly that. And as I say, maybe different NPCs that you can optionally interact with that can tell you something that will hint at this world. Maybe a group of NPCs are just like playing music in the corner, and once you come up to them, they give you a complete optional musical number. Or paintings on the wall of some giant manor we're visiting that tell you a story of the family. A place that oozes history and atmosphere. A place that feels real and lived in. A place that I can imagine has something going on outside of the map area that's available for us. I want this world to be alive. Number 8! A challenge. Let me tell you something. I almost never 100% my games. Unless it's a collectathon like Spyro, I usually just go with the story, check all the missions, look around for some things to find, and call it a day. Getting a rhino, sure, that can be fun, but I don't feel the inner need for it. I don't feel the need to level up all of my weapons. I don't feel the need to find all of the golden or platinum bolts. I don't feel the need to finish every single challenge on the arena. I like finding things like golden bolts or skins, but I never look at my PlayStation achievements. I like to be immersed in the world without worrying about the numbers. I actually really admire people with the skill and patience to do that, to 100% everything they play. But sadly, I don't have this mindset, and I think it's fine. As long as we get all the enjoyment we can from the game, it's fine. So imagine my shock when I accidentally was able to 100% Rift Apart. It was literally the first Ratchet and Clank game that I 100%. The one that I was closest to was 2016 one. But even there, I missed some bolts or something. I don't remember, that game sucks. But I wasn't even trying. And at the end, I had a rhino and I had unlimited ammo and unlimited health before finishing the big bad. I thought, okay, if I was given that this early, it surely must be a big challenge to finish the Emperor off. But no, it wasn't. I was bored. Even after I turned off the unlimited health and unlimited ammo, I still had the rhino, I still had all of my weapons almost maxed out, and I just finished the boss off. Throughout the entirety of the game, I maybe died twice. That wasn't from falling down. Like, every challenge, every mission wasn't a challenge at all. And yet there are difficulty settings, but I'm pretty sure they just give my enemies more health, which wouldn't fix that. Not to mention that every single objective that you have to find is on the map. How am I supposed to feel any type of achievement if my hand is held throughout everything? Every single objective that wasn't that teddy bear Easter egg was so easy to find because it was on the map. Everything was on the map. The pocket dimensions were on the map. The bolts were on the map. Raritanium was on the map. This is like connected dots with only 2 dots. This game's supposed to be a platformer. I'm supposed to take some time and challenge and effort to achieve something, especially 100%. I thought, okay, maybe it's just me. Maybe I just got too good at games. So I got back to Into the Nexus because it's a relatively short game. And this time tried to 100% it. I couldn't find all the rhino schematics, for example. Even though this time, I tried, so I guess it wasn't me. We just progressively get easier and easier games. I mean, Rift Apart does feel like it's just for babies. So for the future, I want a challenge. Unlimited ammo and unlimited health should definitely not be obtainable before finishing the main story, the main plot. It could be a reward after finishing it, so you can maybe then go to the arenas or something to use it up, to not suck the fun from the game. I don't want a giant shell full of participation trophies. I'm good with just one actual trophy that feels earned for actually winning and not just going with the current. Give me something that I cannot find with just looking at the map. For example, let the bolts be on the map, but not Raritanium, or the other way around. Or maybe let everything be on the map except for the pocket dimensions. I mean, you still can see them from afar. So then, the fact that we found them, we would feel like the actual explorers. And getting inside it, ooh, we know nothing about this place. We would feel like our heroes. You know what? You know? We would actually feel something, I think. So, again, by challenge, I don't mean stronger, bigger foes with just longer health bars or more enemies on screen so I can't see anything anymore, but missions and challenges that actually require work, that you have to go through a few times to get better at. So when you finally achieve it, it feels so much better because you feel you did it. You used your head and knowledge of the game mechanics, and you yourself won.
Space
spaceship battles. They were pretty awesome in A Cracking Time. A nice change of pace and a gameplay style. I don't know why it never came back, even though I do have my ideas, but that's it. I just want to fly a ship again. Flying around, having those little moons as the side mini levels. It was really fun, so I hope they will bring it back in the future.
6 number is...
Smaller scale story and stakes. And I don't mean anything like the side stories of All for One or Full Frontal Assault. Look guys, everyone likes their "we gotta save the world", and then when we save the world, what's next? We gotta save the universe! And then what? Oh, we gotta save the entire time and space its end. Go on and it goes on and it goes on. In Rift Apart, we are told numerous times that the dimensions are falling apart, but we can't see it. There are gates to pocket dimensions and there are cracks in the sky. But even the explosion, the utter destruction of Blizzard that could have been a great indicator of what's happening, was not caused by the dimensions collapsing. It was caused by a workplace accident. Same goes for the final battle. Rivet says,
He's gonna destroy the dimension.
but how would he do that? It's not like we've ever seen a dimension being destroyed before. We don't know if it's even possible to happen in this franchise. How would that look like? Drek destroying planets? Yeah, we see that. Death Star destroying planets? Yeah, Alderaan is gone. Princess Leia is homeless forever. Thanos wants to wipe out half of the existence? We see it as example of half of our heroes, the characters that we knew, that we connected with throughout the years, disappearing. And we see the examples of it happening everywhere. So half of the universe, we can imagine what's going on with all of the characters we don't see but like know from the comics or something. We can imagine, and then we see the world after that. Alderaan being destroyed at the beginning of the New Hope shows us what we're up against. The weapon that actually is capable of destroying the entire planet with just one shot. So we know that and why we have to stop it. We can imagine destroying an entire planet. We can imagine half of our friends dying. But we cannot imagine what destroying the universes or dimensions would look like and what kind of consequences would there be. Especially in the game that kept on showing us that there are no consequences for anything. Everything can be fixed, disabilities do not matter, character development doesn't exist, and there's a guy who can fix everything. Even an entire planet that was blown up to pieces. I can't stress enough how stupid that is. But I guess that showing something sad or bad happening as a showcase of consequences of something bad, now that's just too much. Consequences? Emotions? No, that can make kids cry, okay? And we have to keep it safe. We have to keep it Teletubbies level safe. But getting back on track with what I was saying, bigger doesn't mean better. Because if there are ginormous stakes, even the entire universe is a bit much because the universe is infinite. So we cannot imagine it, let alone connect to it to the point that we care. Yeah, we kinda care that our heroes win. Well, of course they're gonna win. The entire existence of everything is at stake. It's such an absurd level of threat that it becomes meaningless without any smaller thing that we're fighting for that's at stake. Why should I care? For example, in A Cracking Time, Alistair was trying to turn back time and was destroying the universe with it. But what I cared about is that he betrayed us, that he killed Ratchet. We've seen him kill Ratchet. He's capable of killing Ratchet. Of course I'm gonna feel for that last fight. Because in the back of my mind is that scene of him killing Ratchet and me thinking, whoa, we can lose. This guy is dedicated. And at the end, he dies. There's a cost. There are consequences to what's happening, to his choices, to our choices. I mean, in Rift Apart, we had a great opportunity for that, where the Emperor tried to destroy Sargasso. But then again, we've never seen him destroy any planet. We've never seen him do anything except for being untouchable, but only when the plot allows it. We don't know if he can do it. Not to mention, there are no like cracks on the ground, lava exploding, oh, the planet is shaking. No, it's just, oh no, there are beams. He's gonna destroy the planet! How am I supposed to feel that? How am I supposed to care? How am I supposed to be at least a little bit afraid that he might win? I want something small that's at stake, that we're gonna care about, that we're gonna connect with. I mean, in the first game, Drek destroyed already few planets before turning his eyes towards Veldin. Of course I'm gonna feel the dread Ratchet does, that his home might be destroyed. Maybe if it was the Emperor who destroyed Blizzon, so we couldn't rebuild the Dimensionator. That was actually my first thought. When I've seen the debris of the planet, I was like, oh no, the Emperor destroyed this place because of something, and that would show us that he's an actual threat. But no! Come on guys, it was there! So easy! It would make us care more. Not to mention, it would be a great environmental storytelling. We as players need an anchor, something to keep the story familiar, the stakes close to our hearts, something that we can imagine ourselves wanting to fight for, something to protect. What I'm saying is, after the entire multiverse distraction stakes, we need something smaller. I know what I would do. I know in which directions I would go, but I don't know what the writers want to do. Because honestly, what can they do now? The entire multiversum was at stake. So what I would like them to do is not trying to one-up themselves with even bigger Death Star, but just keep it simple, but close to our hearts. Make the stakes emotional, more than the abstract concept of absolute distraction. Number 5. Dr. Nefarious is no longer evil, and I don't mean turning him into the goody two-shoes, a dedicated friend for life. No. I just want him to stop being an active villain. Let the guy be a neutral party that for some reason needs to help us. Or just a neutral party. Let him make weapons that we buy throughout the game. Let him be the one explaining how the weapons are working and all the stuff. Him be the voice in the vendor telling us that,
Ooh, looks like you don't have enough bolts for that, sucker!
you know, stuff like that. Not only that can be pretty funny, but would also move his character forward. Because right now he's running full speed backwards. And bring back Lawrence. Nefarious really needs someone to bounce off of so he doesn't seem like a complete waste of time. If not Lawrence, give him a new assistant. A way too eager intern, for example. Or I don't know, Nessa. But let's just stop rehashing the same old, just more pathetic each time. Okay? He has a spark of good inside of him. Just let it show. Number 4. Character development. I've talked in length about all of this, so I'll keep it short here. I want characters to change, to develop throughout the story, for their actions to have actual consequences, for them to grow, to learn new things, to have their views challenged, to have themselves challenged, to have doubt and overcome it, to become better in the end. Not be great all the time, not end at the same place we actually started, and not have the entire personality reset with each new game. I wanna see progression, I wanna see doubt, I wanna see emotions. I wanna be sure that the person we start at the beginning is not the exact same person that we finish the game with. They have different mindset, different skill set, and maybe different view on some things. Because you can't have characters without character development. Otherwise, you only have paper cutouts. Number 3! Courtney Gears. I want Courtney Gears back. I miss her. And I know that she's probably not coming back because she's based on Britney Spears, who's been through a lot. But we can have her rebrand be more of a parody of today pop stars. Many stars change their image throughout the career, so maybe she'll be on tour in a different galaxy, like a comeback tour. She has a different hairstyle, different clothing, new dance routine, and she's all coming back to showbiz, baby. I didn't even need her as a villain, just as a background character. I just want a level at her concert with her songs that have just blatantly aggressive and evil lyrics. Let her like vent about how Ratchet beat her up in a song form and her just demonizing him in the song. Something like that. Maybe Ratchet would have to steal something from her. I don't know, and I don't care. I want Courtney Gears back. If they can bring Rusty Pete and Skid McMark back, then I want my Courtney Gears, okay? Number 2. New villain, preferably female. Where are my bad girls? And I don't want any misunderstood, hurt by a man, female barely villain. No, no, no. I want a pure evil queen. I mean, I've made an entire video of how Dr. Nefarious is abused as a villain and needs to quickly retire. But give me someone threatening. Give me a villain that I'm actually afraid of might win. A capable, maybe goofy in some areas, but capable and threatening mastermind. I just want a solid villain, okay? And a new one, with Courtney Gears being somewhere else, but being there. A new bad guy. Or girl. And number 1, Evil Lombaxes. I've speaked about it in my previous top 10 and hinted many times. I can't stress enough how boring, disappointing, and sadly safe would be to make Lombaxes all that we heard them being. Great, awesome, perfect at everything, engineers from birth, living in an utopian society, being omnipotent and just boring as hell. No, please give me my flawed Jedi Order. Guys thinking that they're the ultimate good, fixing everything and morally superior while doing terrible things in the name of greater good or what they perceive as greater good. Give me Lombaxes as a threat, as colonizers who think they are bringing all the great things with them with just the cause of your freedom. Not only there would be a great chance for a commentary there, but also interesting inner conflict for our heroes. And with the Lombaxes having this legend of themselves, being actually so advanced and stuff, they are a great threat. Honestly, just thinking about it fills my head with thousands and thousands of ideas. How we could make it work perfectly. It could be so exciting. Ratchet being forced to face against his own people. The ones he was looking for years. The ones he himself brought on the unexpected world. Threat he kind of created and now has to stop it. But does he even have it in him to stop the great Lombaxes? Oh, goosebumps, guys, goosebumps! So that was basically my top 10 hopes and wishes for the future of Ratchet and Clank. I know that I managed to fill a lot of rants in here, but that's just who I am, I guess. I just keep this series so close to my heart that it gets me emotional when I think about it, in both good and bad ways. Tell me, what are your hopes for the future? Maybe you share some of mine? Feel free to write them in the comments, I'd love to read them all. And if you like this video, please leave a like, and maybe you want to check out more of my content. I have a lot of video game stuff on my channel, and I'll probably bring more, so think about subscribing. Thanks for watching. Bye!